Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jeremy, and I'm one of the adult education teachers here at Romemu. It feels good to be gathered here again after Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. This week's Torah portion tells us to observe and celebrate a long list of holidays. Indeed, it is nice to transition so quickly into Sukkot, which is also referred to as Zman Simchatenu, our time of happiness. I want to offer a few thoughts about this Torah portion. The Torah portion says as follows, and I'll translate from the Hebrew. Daber el bnei Yisrael le'emor, ב-15 לחודש השביעי הזה, Chag HaSukkot, Shivat Yamim LaAdonai. Moshe is to say to the Israelite people, on the 15th day of this 7th month, there shall be a feast of booths to Adonai, to last 7 days. Besukkot teshvu Shivat Yamim kol ha'ezrach b'Yisrael yeshvu basukot. You shall live in the booth 7 days. Let's see you living in the booth tonight. All citizens in Israel shall live in the booths. למען ידעו דורותיכם, כי בסוכות הושבתי את בני ישראל, בהוציא אותם מארץ מצרים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, in order that future generations may know that I made the Israelite people live in booths when I brought them out of the land of Egypt. I, your God, Adonai. Our sitting in the Sukkah is a reminder of the exodus from Egypt and the miracles that followed. The word Sukkah can be translated in many ways: a booth, a tabernacle, a temporary hut. We cover the Sukkah with schach, which is reference to branches such as palm branches or the like. But if we go back to the roots of what these words mean, it is essentially to cover, to protect, to shield. And the plural of one sukkah is Sukkot. The time is the end of the crop gathering season. People have now collected their crops from the fields, and the pantry is abundantly full. The rabbis speak of the risk that we might feel full of ge'avah, which I would translate as hubris. In view of our material, physical, non-spiritual achievements, we could feel hubris. In order to remind us that focusing merely on our material achievements isn't a sufficient purpose, the Jews get out, they leave their homes, they go into the sukkah, to a temporary dwelling, a dwelling that is completely exposed to the elements. By sitting, sleeping, and living in the sukkah, we recognize that our existence, our life in this world is fragile, like a temporary sukkah. Our ownership of things is temporary. That is the power of being out in the shack. Moreover, the sukkah symbolizes equality. We are all really just taking cover under the same common roof, emphasizing that there is really no distinction between the noble and the wretched. As it is stated in the book of Job, "Velo nikar shoah lifnei dal, ki ma'aseh yadav kulam." He is not partial to princes. The noble are not preferred to the wretched, for all of them are the work of his hands. The Sukkah is there to remind us that there is no real value to socioeconomic status, no advantage to the property owner over the impoverished. The scholars have expressed the concern that in view of this seasonal abundance, we may say to ourselves, my own power and the might of my hand have won this wealth for me. And in Hebrew, "V'amarta bilvavcha kochi ve'otzem yadi asa li et hachayil hazeh." Remember that it is your God, Adonai, who gives you the power to get wealth in fulfillment of the covenant made an oath with your fathers, as is still the case. Sitting in the sukkah is a reminder to hit the reset button, intended to take us back to our beginnings, wherever they may be, and focus on the things that matter. A little while ago, we chanted Hashkivenu, the prayer asking to be laid down to sleep in peace. And we recited Ufros Aleinu Sukkot Shalom just a few minutes ago. Spread upon us a sukkah of peace. A sukkah? Why does the prayer ask God to spread upon us a sukkah of peace? Why not ask for a fortress of peace, or at least a building of peace, or anything more durable structurally than a sukkah? My sense is that it is intentional. The prayer is a reminder that peace, protection, and tranquility are not an obvious state of being. They are fragile like the sukkah and cannot be taken for granted. They need to be cultivated and prioritized in order to be maintained. The Torah portion goes on to say, "Uviktzorchem et ktsir artechem lo tichle pe'at sadecha b'kotzrecha veleket ktsircha lo telaket la'ani v'lager ta'azov otam ani Adonai Elohechem." And when you reap the harvest, it says, when you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not reap all the way to the edges of your field, or gather the gleanings of your harvest. You shall leave them for the poor and the stranger. I, Adonai, am your God. The bounty from the fields is plentiful, but we are commanded in this Torah portion to leave a portion of our fields open for charity, for tzedakah. Another reminder that we don't really own anything in the modern sense of the word. And what we have by grace and good fortune, and we really ought to share. During Sukkot, we perform the mitzvah of waving the 4 species: the etrog, the citron, the lulav, which is a frond of a date palm tree, the hadas, the myrtle, and the arava, the willow. The mitzvah teaches us about unity and cohesiveness among different types of people. Rabbi Israel Meir Lau, who was the chief rabbi of Israel, views each of the 4 species as representing different types of people. The etrog has both a sweet smell and has flavor. The lulav, a palm tree branch, gives us dates, but the dates have flavor but no sweet smell. The hadas is the opposite of the etrog. It has a pleasant smell but has no taste. How many people have no taste? And finally, the arava has no taste and has no sweet smell at all. Like people, the 4 species are different. But on Sukkot, we tightly bind the 4 species together to become one, whatever our differences are. It is a time to be united and integrated with one another in spite of our differences. And all shall become one collective. Vaya'asu kulam aguda achat la'asot retzoncha b'levam shalem. And Sukkot is also called Zman Simchatenu, a time of rejoicing, because people that are united are happy. The 10 days of awe, Rosh Hashanah, and Yom Kippur are behind us. As we sit in our Sukkot and feel the elements upon us, may we not take for granted all the lessons of being out in the Sukkah, being outside. Being outdoors reminds me of the urgent need to heal our environment. Back to basics. I want to take this opportunity to share a short prayer that I wrote in your honor for tonight to heal the environment. As you sit in your sukkah, feel free to use it to say a prayer for our precious environment, which we cannot take for granted. So now we're going to do 2 minutes of teaching. That's what I do. I teach. So here are 4 words in Hebrew. Okay, I'm just going to 4 words, and I'm sure many of you know 3 of them, maybe not the 4th. Okay. So, Hanoten is like Noten HaTorah, okay? Hanoten is giver, the giver, Hanoten. That's the first word. What's nice about this bracha, it's only 4 words, and it rhymes, so it's easy. So we're going to do it. Hanoten, okay? Just hold on. I'm giving you the words first. This is the teaching part. Refuah, healing, as in the prayer Refa Nala. We just sang that. So Hanoten, Refuah, Shlema is whole or complete, just like Shalom. Shalom is a state of being whole. And Siviva is the environment, the surrounding. It's like sevivon. It goes round and round. It's around us. So hanoten, refuah, shlema, and seviva. So here's the blessing. This is the blessing for the environment. And here's how it goes. I'll say it, and then you'll repeat. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten refuah shlema lasviva, which translates as, Blessed you are God, King of the universe, who grants a complete healing to the environment. All right, so now we're going to say it together. I will say 3 words, and I'll ask you to repeat me. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten refuah shlema lasviva. And in English, I'll just say that again in English. Blessed you are God, King of the universe, who grants a complete healing to the environment. Shabbat shalom and Chag Sameach. Sviva. Sviva.